Hi, my name is Matthew, and if you clicked on this video, it's because you want to do digital art with a mouse. So here goes nothing. I have my mouse here. I'm going to be using it, and I also have Photoshop. You don't have to use Photoshop. There's a plethora of free software. Krita. There's so many free softwares that you can download. You don't have to use Photoshop. I just use it because that's just what I use. All right, so here I have a set of brushes. I'm using brushes that I got from Awan Ahmad. He's a great content creator. If you guys enjoy digital art and you're new to digital art, I'd say you follow him. He has a ton of awesome brushes. He gives them away for free, and he posts some of the best content that I think I've seen. None of it's gate kept, none of it's behind a paywall. It's all free. You just go to his channel, hit the like button, subscribe to him. This is kind of a shameless plug for him. I mean, he's a great dude. So here I'm just playing with the perspective. Again, this is a brush from Imad Awan. Uh, he has a perspective brush, and I'm using this to get the perspective. All right, so I pretty much was playing with the brush and trying to just get a feel for what I want to do. And you can see I'm following the perspective grid kind of loosely and creating some sort of rock formation here. Just making some basic shapes. Just slowly chipping away until the preferred design or look. Now I'm drawing in the floor. Now this can kind of change based off like terrain and stuff like that, but for the most part, it still follows the perspective line, the horizon line. And the idea I'm going with is obviously the closer something is to you, the more detailed, the darker, and as things draw farther away from you, the more desaturated and less detailed. Just trying to figure out what I like. Just using the lasso tool. Maybe I want to make a river or a road here. I'm not really sure. Just trying to build up some ideas. At first, I wanted to draw like a character, or maybe a horse or a guy walking, but you'll see that I actually changed that later. Drawing a character with a mouse is actually pretty difficult. Well, I don't know if I'll say it was difficult, but it does take a lot of getting used to. A lot of trying to figure out how to get the proportions right. But I mean, you really can do it. I'm trying to give him some sort of little pet. Playing around with the gradient tool. I liked it at first, but I think I ended up changing my mind a little bit later. Sometimes it can actually add a little cool effect, and I just went in with the soft brush and decided to add some highlights myself. And I try to add like some sort of bokeh effect or some sort of cinematic view. Not really sure how I feel about it. I think I ended up changing it. Now I'm trying to play around with I'm trying to add some detail into the rock formation, something that shows value and scale. And you can see sometimes the way my process works is um, I think I move around too much. Could be a flaw, could be great. Sometimes when I'm not really sure what I want, I just move on to the next thing. So the next thing was the sky. Clouds are really difficult to, you really got to look at them, look at how they're shaped. It's really hard sometimes to make clouds. It's a little bit of a struggle I find for me, because there's that fine line between making them look, like they're part of the drawing and making them look kind of goofy. You can really mess them up pretty easily. Again, these are brushes available from Imad Awan. He gives all the brushes that I'm using in this for free, and you should definitely check them out. This is I think it's called a sponge brush, sponge rectangle, if I'm not mistaken. And it adds, I really liked it. I started playing around. I'm trying to carve into this rock and kind of make some rock formations. But I think, again, I ended up just scrapping this idea and going for another brush. You'll see. This is all part of the process, playing with your brushes, figuring out what works, what doesn't. The digital medium can be very forgiving because at the end of the day, you can just hit the undo button. I start playing with this. You can see I start thinking maybe this will work out. This is a nice rock brush. And I actually ended up scrapping that idea. I didn't like how it was turning out. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut to the next part. I found this rock brush. It's really nice too. It can really add some this level of of detail that's a little subtle in a way, but also gives you that like the nice highlights. Rocks are really strange too. If you study rocks, you look at rocks for a minute, you can really see there's a lot of colors that working in the rock. A lot of darks, a lot of midtones, a lot of highlights. Uh, Life is very interesting when you study it. When you study clouds, study rocks, study dirt. It's really hard to like really nail that texture that we come to recognize. And you can see I'm really liking this brush now. Again, I said use that mountain brush. I didn't really like the effect it was giving me. I kind of like I said, I ended up scrapping it. Trying to establish a sense of value, sense of darkness. And I know I'm not good at it, but a pro tip is always keep track of your layers. I don't like naming them because I think that's a little too tedious, but just try to manage how you work with them because sometimes you're in a deep project and you realize that you used one layer for a majority of your work and now you can't really build upon it and it really takes away the time that you spent. Now you have to really organize and go back and make sure everything's all right. Layers can be really tricky at first. And here I go in with this nice little brush too, just adding some texture, some shadows and highlights in the characters to make them kind of visually stand out. Again, working in the background, giving some shapes to the mountains, giving them some depth so it doesn't look too flat. Now we're giving the clouds some highlights. Like I said, clouds are very tricky to nail. They have a lot of highlights, a lot of darks, a lot of lights, a lot of grays, midtones, and it's all about playing with them, trying to see how you can manipulate texture and value into the clouds. I think at this part I try to make it look like it's a snow-capped mountain. That could be really tricky too. A lot of features, can end up. You just got to really look at it from a distance and see if it reads. All right, and this is the final shot. So being an up-and-coming digital artist, I've watched a lot of tutorials to help me get to where I am. They typically recommend that you use a Wacom or an iPad tablet, but there's some comments if you read or you watch tutorials yourself, you'll see that people will be upset. They'll be like, well, I guess I can't do this tutorial because I have only a mouse. So I don't know if you want to see this as a challenge or inspiration. I'm a personal believer that You should use any of the tools that you have if you want to get into digital art. Use a mouse, use it, whatever tools you have. If you have the money, um, I'm not sure what's reasonable, but a lot of people think that spending $2,000 on iPad Pro is affordable. I don't think it's affordable. I think just getting a computer and a Wacom tablet, you can get a Wacom tablet for like $50. For the most part, I did enjoy this process. I really do like the feeling of trying to learn something new again, even though you know how to do it a different way. And I know plenty of artists who use a mouse. They use vector-based work, and all of it's pretty much a mouse. They use a mouse and a pen tool, and you can get pretty far with that stuff. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did you enjoy the process? Did you like seeing someone use a mouse and try to get pretty? I think it's pretty decent. And art is really subjective, really. You'd be surprised how far you can get with just minimal supplies. You don't need to spend a lot of money to make good art. But that's all I have for today. I'm gonna try to post regularly and make some new content around the digital realm of art. And feel free to subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.